Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's race. It is the 2021.2 SimTC series, round 5, and we're at Chang International Circuit. I didn't do all of my research. I'll try and double check where the circuit is based. I'm assuming somewhere it's an Eastern circuit. But it's gonna be an exciting one. This is the penultimate round for the Division 1 in the SimTC series. Championship points are now starting to come into play. I do think the Point Blank Racing team has done quite well for themselves in this season, but there might still be some championship bragging rights to race for in tonight's race. So quite excited to go and get to see that. In terms of race information, so while the practice is still happening there and the quali almost gets going, just want to quickly give an insight into what Chang looks like. It's a very interesting circuit with two very nice long straights, making for some really interesting driving. I took some of the virtual TCR cars around here, and I had quite a bit of fun. But it's a nice technical track. And there's a lot that you can do. We might see some silliness tonight. The pit entry and pit exit is a little bit weird, and we unfortunately can't steward that all. But hopefully all of our drivers can stay safe and they don't end up running into one another, and we can have a good race. Just a quick in terms of the weather. We are starting the race at 1 p.m. and it's a nice and hot 29 degrees Celsius ambient temperature. Few clouds hanging about that brings down the road temperature to around 26. Quite a strong wind though, so 20 kilometer southern wind. And then in terms of grip, it's a nice and grippy track. Lots of other races have been run around it, so a lot that can happen there. Quickly gonna move on to our division movements. So I think there was another driver there was actually an extra space, so it allowed us to only demote 2 drivers. So Valerio Antonucci and Corne Briet unfortunately couldn't attend last race, and they didn't have any drop rounds anymore. So they've been relegated to Div 2. But that means that there's now space for Hardus Boyse, Johan Niemand, and Pieter Grolber, although I do remember Pieter Grolber saying he was having some technical difficulties. And before our qualifying gets going, let me quickly jump on over to a lap guide, courtesy of our good friend Nick Hodgson.
Alright, good evening everybody and welcome to round 5 here at SimRace SA for the 2021.2 season. We are of course in the BTCC Super Touring cars. We're in the Volvo S40 and we are at Chang International, and we go straight flying across the start finish straight. We of course have quite high temperatures here, braking between the 100 and the 50 for T1. Feathering the throttle to make sure we don't hit the green stuff on the left hand side, I should say. You will lose a lot of time. I in fact could have done that corner a little bit quicker, had about a tenth and a half in me there, but it's okay. We're looking down now towards our first big braking zone, braking just as those black marks get a little bit wider, and then T3 quite tricky, but we get a good exit, running the car all the way to the left hand side there, and another straight. We get to sit and think about our life for a little bit, going into 6th gear. Here we go, and about to flick the car through. I like to flick it through in 5th gear. I find it gives me a little bit more stability into T4, T5. I brake a little bit earlier, carry a little bit more speed on the exit, and then power down. Keep the car nice and tight on the exit of T6, so you can then flick the car through T7, almost flat sticks through T7. Don't touch the green on the left hand side. Once again, T8, brake a little bit earlier, carry a bit more speed, and get a better exit. T9, I run a little bit wide out and then get back on the power nice and early, flicking into 3rd. Full power all the way through T10, keep it nice and tight to 10 and 11, shorten the track as much as you can into 5th gear. We're looking for our last braking zone just by these black marks, braking hard for T12, turning in and back on the power early. It's a nice short run to the line, and we'll cross the line for a 1 minute 41.416.
Okay, so I say thank you to Mr. Nick Hodgson, as our camera is currently focused on him. I think drivers are now... Yeah, Nick must have probably just started his hot lap. So 141, quite a quick one. I'm going to quickly try and find what the... What the practice times were, just to get a quick indicator. So Nick was doing a best lap of a 141.4, Ross 141.7, Brett 141.7, Sean Bingham 141.9, and then the next Peter Geldenhuis, also very quick, a 142 dead. And I think times go back to, it's only almost 10 drivers after that starts dipping into, well, pushing past the 143 mark. So lots that can still happen. Excited to see what the drivers can pull off. Not sure why times aren't showing up yet. I'm a bit lost on this track. I probably should have spent more time just absorbing the layout. I've only really absorbed it from the driver's perspective. Quick intermission. Hello to everybody in YouTube channel there in the chat. Ryan Hill, Andrew Lima, Nick Unel, Cleopas, Carl Stieg. Welcome. Hope you're gonna have some fun. Hopefully for those of you driving in Div 2, you can gain some insight into what's going to happen and how to go about your driving here tonight. Right. Let's see if we can go find. Just jump back to James Leach Sr. and I'm gonna try and stick with him. He's done a relatively quick lap, and it's around the same time from what I could see on the practice server that was graciously provided by Grumpy Monkey. I'm also very curious to see what the impact of the draft will be here tonight. James Leach currently half a second up on his delta. Still a lot for him to do. This is the second longest straight, and there's a lot of technical bits here. Almost running wide there, maybe losing. No, he's still gaining some time, so he's definitely showing that the first lap was just a banger. Get that safety lap in so that you know you have a time on the board and you're not going to be caught out by trying to push too hard. 10 minutes, of course, being a very, very limited amount of time for quali. So the drivers are going to have to really work hard at getting it down. Ooh, another Leach car there, just unsettling him. Not sure if it is an actual Leach driver. We have been having some issues with liveries being incorrectly selected. But maybe I'll go hunt quickly. James, that's Francois Erasmus, James Leach. So that was James Leach. James Leach Sr. might be a little bit unhappy, but he crosses the line and does not improve. Alright, I'm gonna go try hunt for someone else. Hardes Boyse, our new entrant into Div 1 tonight. He's currently, 6/10 up on his delta. He's doing spectacularly well. Comes into 10-12 there. Cross the finish line, and that bumps him up into 6th with a 142.8. Very, very decent time there by him. Right, so... Ooh, I need to remember, is this Rian or Ruan? I think it's Rian van der Westhuizen. He is currently well up on his delta, although I don't see him on the list, so I'm assuming this is still him trying to go for his first valid lap. It's going to cross the finish line, and he sets not a valid lap time. That is unfortunate. He's clearly having some trouble getting it down. Right, Gerard Niemand. 1.5 tenths, almost 2 tenths up on his delta. 3 minutes to go. Still a lot to play for. It's all about keeping that delta consistent, because sometimes you can You sit there like a chameleon, keeping one eye on that delta, thinking, ooh, I need to keep it together. Oh, and he does run deep, and just on that last corner, misses out. He's going to be a bit angry with himself because that bad exit had also now cost him a good start there on the main straight. Right, Ross Bartle, 1/10 up on his delta. Okay, that's half a tenth now. He's riding that edge, still trying to find the little bit of pace that he can possibly find. Although I'm not sure if he's got enough in the bank. No, unfortunately not. Very short run to the finish line there. Waldo Swiggers crosses the line. He improves by 1/10. But that's not quite enough to bump him up a position. Pieter Geldenhuys bumping up to 4th there, so he's doing well for himself tonight. Catching Sean Hards as he crosses the finish line, almost a second, just loses out a bit there. He does improve, but he's still got heaps of time to go and find to try and climb up this ladder. Sean Bingham, 4/10 up on his delta. He's keeping it nice and tight, apexing late. Try and keep the car as straight as possible through these S's, as Nick had said, and make that course, make the track as short as possible. 1 minute and 20 seconds left, so most of the drivers still out there might still be able to come and set one more lap. Sean crosses the line, 142.3. He does improve, but that's still not quite enough. Franco Erasmus coming around the last corner here. He's 2/10 up, 1/10, loses it all on the very last corner. I've seen this happen again tonight, well, with someone else tonight, so that's not quite what we want to see. Quick look in terms of tires. Majority of the field on softs, but Brett Krokamp, Shiraz Dada, Gerard Niemand, Sean Hards on mediums, and then Johan Niemand and Waldo Swiggers on hard tires. So a bit of a mixed match here. Gonna be interesting to see what the race strategies are gonna bring. Right, Franco bins his lap and he decides to abort it. Bjorn Buchner, currently 3/10 up. Still that's not going to be quite enough to gain him a position, but as long as you can improve your best lap, then I'm always happy with getting better times on the board. Okay, overtime is upon us. Ross Bartle, I think that's okay. He's coming into turn 5 now. Ooh, gets slightly crossed there and pulls off the racing line. Just jumping to Shiraz Dada, he's losing a lot of time here coming into turn 5. Maybe not carrying quite as much speed as he's maybe hoping to carry. Does he keep it tight? Can he keep it flat? Does it quick lift there? And he's on the little short straight coming into turn 8. Gaining some more lap time. He's finding a bit more. 3, almost 4/10 up on his delta. Ooh, it does look like he's braking a bit hard. Maybe going a bit deep. That might have cost him, but he's still 4/10 up. So I'm not discounting him yet. The only question is now, can he get through turn 12 without any issues? Seen a few drivers getting caught up there. Goes a little deep, 7/10 up. He's going to lose 1/10, but he improves, and that pushes him into 11th. So well-deserved 11th starting position there for Shiraz, and I think that is quali. Brett Krokamp is still out. He crosses the finish line. He does improve, and he is on 3rd. I'm going to go for a quick ad break, and we will be back shortly with the race start. Okay, and we're back. Right. Just getting ready here, trying to find the cameras. Nice TV camera. Brett Grokamp sitting on third there. Nick Hodgson, well-deserved pole to him, followed by Ross Bartle. So it's a point-blank front row lockout, followed by Brett Grokamp, and then Waldo Swiggers, Renier Leach, or actually that should be Pieter Geldenhuis if I'm looking closely. And Sean Bingham there in the background. He's been proving to be quite quick recently. Yes, Cole, it is sometimes a bit weird, but it's that odd time of year where things get a bit busy. Okay, lights on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights. Drop the clutch and away they go. Ooh, Brett getting an extremely good start there, pulling in front of Ross. Ross still managing to keep a hold of third there with Renier Leach following close by. Very good start. Looks like everybody has gotten going. It's a nice thing about Chang is I think the first corner isn't as treacherous as other circuits may be, but this first hairpin might be the demise of some drivers. Gonna keep a close eye there. Gonna switch to Shiraz Dada. He's running very, very close. Two abreast through that corner. I do think he's managed to almost make an overtake stick. If not, he keeps it going. Sean Bingham dropping down the order. He must have not gotten the exit he was looking for onto this short straight. Some positions chopping and changing happening behind Shiraz there with Johan Niemand and Gregory Hofart. Shiraz throwing it up on the inside. Gets the overtake done on James Leach Sr. and so does Johan Niemand, following very close by there. Lots of movement up and down the field. I'll try and keep a close eye there. Still seeing Rian van der Westhuizen, him and Gregory Hofart swapping and changing places. They're two abreast coming into turn 8. Giving one another the space. Well done. That's the type of racing that we want to see. Gregory managing a beautiful clean overtake there, and he is going to be trying to focus on moving his way forward. Just jumping forward to Gerard Niemand, right on the tail of Rian van der Westhuizen. Just pulling up alongside, coming into turn 12, throws it up on the inside. Rian kind of closes the door there and says, no, you're not taking this position right now. Just hopping forwards. Waldo running very, very wide there. I think that's out of turn 1. Not quite getting the exit he was maybe hoping for. But has to just fall back into the toe, see what he can do. Back. Gerard Niemand and Rian van der Westhuizen switching places. Just missed the overtake there. But Rian is right on the back of Gerard there. And I'm sure he's going to try and look for a move into turn 4. Ooh, bit of an aggressive move there. Rian does get slightly out of shape. Johan Niemand in the Fiketty litter. That was unfortunate. Hopefully they can get back going. Not quite the type of racing we're hoping to see here tonight, but that is kind of part of racing sometimes as well. Is some incidents will occur. Sean Bingham on the back of Waldo Swiggers, and there's a bit of a train with Francois Erasmus, Waldo Swiggers, Shiraz Dada, and I think James Leach Sr. forming. It's not very, very close, but I'm sure Sean has dropped quite a few positions, so he's a little bit out of position in terms of what he might be capable of in terms of race pace, and he'll be fighting his way back forward. Quick look up and down the field. Tire choices are a relatively even split between soft and mediums, with a few hard tires thrown in there as well. looking closely. Gerard Niemand and Waldo Swiggers both on the hard tire set, so they're not quite feeling comfortable with the softer compounds, and it's a bit easier for them to manage, not having to worry about tires overheating. Sean just not able to close that gap on Waldo. Waldo is perhaps also closing the gap on Francois Erasmus in front. And there, Francois runs wide. This might be the opportunity. Waldo sneaks by there. Sean is now a little bit out of track position there, but he can tuck in behind and get his nose down to try and focus on getting an overtake. Sean side by side, just not quite enough in the braking zone. Francois Erasmus a bit braver on the brakes, able to keep a bit more speed and get himself back in front. Someone has disconnected. I missed who that was. We're about 15 minutes left on this race, so still a lot of time. Hopefully they can come back and get going. Just jumping forward, Pieter Geldenhuis behind Hardus Boysa. Hardus a bit of a newcomer. I've been told he's been asking for some help, and the help that he's received is definitely showing. He is putting down some really good races recently, and he's pulled himself up into Div1. I'm actually quite excited to see what he can do tonight. Cleopas, I have no idea if Div1 is just full of Volvos. I don't think so. There might be a BMW here and there. I'll try and keep my eyes peeled. Otherwise, I can actually look at the participants list. Quick squiz. Let's go and give the man some airtime. Bjorn Buchner, he is in the BMW. One of 3 BMWs on the field. And then Stefan Herbst, Pieter Grobler. Yeah, Stefan Herbst and Pieter Grobler are the only two in the Nissan. So I'll go and give Stefan some airtime just now. Always love seeing Bjorn's Team Gunston liveries. Beautiful. That's all I can say. He is right on the back of Rian van der Westhuizen though. Might be getting hungry, chomping at the bit for a move. Let's see if he can keep it clean. Ooh, he does keep a very clean corner there. Did he get a good exit? I do think he might be able to hold on. Yes, he pulls out ahead, but he is going to be a little tight into this hairpin. Give one another the space necessary. Bjorn keeping it nice and smooth. Hugs that apex beautifully. Slight door banging, but they're still side by side. I'm keen to see what's going to happen into the next turn, turn 4. Bjorn has to fall back. Didn't quite get the drive that he was hoping for, and that's the one thing I think I noticed when I was looking at the track initially, is that hairpin isn't as tight as you might think. So going slightly wider might give you a decent exit if you are side by side. When Rian runs very wide, that's going to compromise the next few turns. Yes, and it does. Bjorn is ahead. And it's Johan Niemand is also all over the place, but he is trying hard there to get past Rian. Love the chatter there. Love the chatter there, Cleopas. Back your team as hard as you can. Right. This back straight. Ooh, drivers look like they want to have a look. Johan almost there. both Bjorn and Rian van der Westhuizen running very, very deep. That's allowed Johan to get a clean and easy overtake there. He's going to be focusing on getting ahead forward. I do see Sean Bingham has also gotten past Franco Erasmus. Quickly jump forward there. They're still side by side. Franco Erasmus and Shiraz Dada. Shiraz also gets that overtake done. So that is it. Although, don't discredit Erasmus here. He is right on the back of Shiraz there. I'm holding my breath. Is there going to be a move? Is there not going to be a move? I do want to quickly go and show off Stefan Herbst in the Nissan. One of the very few cars out there. Really, really thirsty car, and it's not proven to be a very popular choice because of that. It hurts your pit stops a little, so you're dragging that ball and chain with you. 9 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. Still a lot that can happen. Just hopping forward there, Nick Hodgson has managed to drop Ross Bartle by 2.4 seconds, and Ross is then 1.2 seconds ahead of Brett. So the point blank team definitely showing, as they have in most of the races this season, that they're miles ahead. They're solid on how they drive these cars, and they have a firm understanding of what to do. Lots of movement there. Just hopping back to Hades Boyce. He is side by side with Pieter Geldenhuys. Pieter, an old hand at this racing thing. Hades bullying him a little, just kind of nudging him there to the edge of the track and making it his life difficult. Pieter choosing life and backing out of that engagement, hoping that he can bring back the battle at a later stage. Right, Franco Erasmus on the inside of Shiraz Dada. Shiraz is still ahead, but it's going to compromise his line into turn 7. And Erasmus goes with the with the cutback. Beautiful. Apologies there for the noise. Forgot to put my Discord on streamer mode. Hopefully that won't be distracting me anymore. Right, so Shiraz still not letting up on this battle. He is going to fight tooth and nail for this 10th position. Remembering this isn't a reverse grid. This is the finishes has no for this race has no impact on the feature race, but they do count points, and those tasty points can really help you to get those bragging rights for the end of the championship. Francois definitely fighting hard. Shiraz is not letting up. They're going side by side for many laps now. Slight door bang there, just making sure that he's still aware of Francois on the inside there. Francois does take a very wide line. They're not sure if that's going to be benefiting him a lot into turn 6 or turn 5. Slightly sideways and running wide. Shiraz definitely running a cleaner line there, but Francois is ahead. He manages to keep Shiraz at bay, having to now wait for a battle on at some other stage. Meanwhile, James Leach also saying, "Ooh, I want in on these actions, so top 10 finish for me, please. I'm more than willing to come and join." Down below, Bjorn Buchner and Johan Niemann switching places. Quickly gonna go see. Not side by side, but I'm sure Johan will be battling now. I've noticed it's a little difficult overtaking through this section. turn 9, 10. It's about keeping your speed consistent, making the track as short as possible to try and gain the advantage. But the advantage here isn't to set yourself up necessarily for an overtake, but to stay on the tail so that you can get the draft on the big long straights. Johan on the inside beautifully, although Bjorn might have gone for the cutback there, get the better exit, and that will ensure that he can keep that inside line. It's going to be interesting to see what Niemand can do on the exit after this hairpin. Both of these drivers respecting one another, making sure that they're leaving enough space to have some good racing, still side by side coming into 10-4. But Niemand is ahead and he's able to stay ahead now. Ooh, Bjorn getting slightly sideways there. That's going to be a little bit costly. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in this race. And the gaps have opened up a bit. Bjorn, I am not going to claim commentator's curse for that one. You brought that on yourself. Let's see if there's some other close gaps. Pieter Gelden is right on the back of Renier Leach. Renier running defensive into 10-3. Pieter does have the outside line. Is he going to try and go for the cutback? Not quite. Renier does park it slightly, but I do think it's allowed Pieter to get a really good exit, and they're side by side. Pieter is actually ahead of Renier Leach going into 10-4, and it's now going to be all about keeping it clean, not running into one another. Runs slightly wide. Can he keep it nice and consistent through this next section? Misses the apex. I'm not sure if he missed it. Might have gone for a late apex. I'm not 100% sure what the line was. James Leach has to fall back there. He can't quite hold on to the back of him yet. But Hardes Boyse is also saying, "Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy! I can maybe gain a position here." So this is shaping up to be quite a feisty battle for 5th. The battle for 10th is also still going with James Leach Sr., Shiraz Dada and Francois Erasmus. I'll switch back to that momentarily. I'm keeping a close eye on that gap. And in fact, I do think that gap is closer. Let's see. Onto the back straight. Turn 10, turn 11. Can Shiraz get in that toe? Can he sit there and drive consistently? Put the pressure on Francois Erasmus to make a mistake into this last turn. Francois does run slightly wide, and I do think Shiraz has gotten a better exit here. He's got the inside line, and he might even have the overtake done come turn 1. But it is going to compromise his line out of turn 1 and onto this long straight. Francois definitely with loads more speed, and James Leach Sr. also slipping by. So that not quite working out the way Shiraz Dada might have hoped. Francois running very defensive against James Leach Sr. there into the hairpin. Always hold my breath like that when drivers are sitting underneath one another's wing into a turn. I do think James just stuck his nose out trying to unsettle him going into the braking zone. But you do have that moment where you wonder, are they going to run into one another? And in the background, Shiraz running slightly wide there, still fighting hard to keep on hold of the back of James Leach Sr. here. One minute left, quickly going to check. Nick Hodgson, he has just started his lap. So this is going to be the final lap of the race, ladies and gentlemen. So not a lot of time. P5, James Leach right on the back of Pieter Geldenhuys still. And I'm sure James Leach Sr. on the back of Francois Erasmus for the battle for 10th. They're both fighting very, very hard here. Tooth and nail right down to the wire. Francois parking it, but it's not quite enough. I do think James managed to get the exit there. Not quite though. Okay, it was a bit of a deceiving exit there. They're coming side by side here and just not maybe comfortable getting in there. It's a very fast sweeping corner. It's a difficult one to overtake. But jumping forwards again to Nick Hodgson. He's coming around turn 12. Drove this flag to flag. Well done to Nick. It's been a smashing race for him. He's followed by Ross Bartle for a well-deserved second position there. Brett Crocombe not too far down the road. He's in third. Renier Leach crosses the line for fourth. Pieter Geldenhuys and James Leach. I think James Leach might have just pipped him in the end there, so that's a well-deserved finish there. Adis Boyce, 7th position, Sean Bingham 8th. We see Waldo Swiggers coming around the last corner for 9th position. Francois Erasmus crossing for 10th. So James Leach Sr. just not quite getting over the line there. So while the rest are finishing, Sean Hards, 14th position. Gregory Hofart is finishing in 15th. With the final three drivers, Gerard Niemand, Johan Niemand, not Gerard Niemand, Johan Niemand, Bjorn Buchner and Rian van der Westhuizen, each having their own little individual race. It's a bit lonely, but Johan Niemand finishes, Bjorn Buchner is going to finish now. And that is it for the first sprint race. I'm gonna go to a quick ad break and we'll see everybody in a bit while we get ready and up and running on the next server for the feature race. Alrighty, we're on the server, we're ready. 2 minutes still left in this practice session. With this current setup, shall I say, the format, we do have to give the drivers a bit of time to make sure that they can each get into the server before quali starts. I am looking at how many people have connected. Let me see what I can figure out. Looks like the majority is on, so hopefully they can get going. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how that first race went. Bit of a bumping here and there. Ooh, that steering column is completely missing. A bit of bumping here and there, but I think it was an entertaining race. Peter Geldenhuys definitely showing his mettle there, but just losing out. And the same for James Leach Sr. fighting hard for that top 10 finish. This next race is a 40-minute race, and I'm told that, well, not told, past experience has taught me that tires are a bit of a problem on these cars with the 40-minute races. You can't necessarily run it end to end, but running the race with a single pit stop can get you there. Although we did see someone in, I think it was Div1 for the last TC race. They made it work, and I was quite surprised, like making a no-stopper worked. But it takes a lot of hard work, managing tires, making sure that you're not taking too much out of them too early. Okay, we're into overtime. Drivers are going to be getting ready to go out. I will throw up the timing tower as soon as they are going, and then we can get excited for this longer format race. I'm sure Chang is a bit of a physical track given how fast it is, and you have to work a bit. So it's the 40-minute race might test the driver's ability to hold on just that bit more compared to the 20-minute race. Does appear that some of the drivers are having some issues with their connections. Everybody sitting in the pits. We're now patiently waiting for this session to start. All of the pretty cars are lined up and ready to go. Okay, and they're out. They're on track, getting ready. Gerhard Niemand, I think he got out of the pits first. So looking at the entry list, 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers that couldn't make it tonight, but I think the field that we have here, it's a nice and good field to go. 10 minutes is also not a lot of time. So I've mentioned this on previous races. With the track rubbering in, it takes, okay, I think it actually just takes 5 laps. So as soon as a few cars have managed the lap, the track grip should improve. But it has previously been an issue where track grip only really improves towards the end of quali, and I'm not expecting it, given the current parameters. I'm not expecting track grip to improve vastly, but we might see the initial times not quite as fast as the times logged later in quali. With a lap taking more than a minute and a half, it does take more than 3 minutes for us to see the first lap. So Gerard Niemand crossing the finish line to start his hot lap now. I'll stick with him for the time being until we start seeing times popping up. He does keep it nice and tidy. He did lose out a little in race 1 there. I think he suffered a disconnect and then unfortunately couldn't work his way back up the field. So through turn 2 into turn 3, keeping it nice and consistent, just touching the apex, getting back on the power. Cleopas, I really hope that your pom-poms are as colorful as your team's cars are, because you're convincing me tonight that you are the cheerleader of on point for Sim Racing Africa crew. That's unfortunate. Gerard must have invalidated his lap. Okay. Just hopping back again. So, Brett Kroukamp crosses the finish line 141.8 with Ross Bartle on a 141.4 taking provisional pole. Sean Bingham popping in with the 142.9, followed by Franco Erasmus on a 142.95. So, not a lot of time separating Sean and Franco right now. Shiraz on a hot lap of his own. He is about one and a half tenths up on his delta. I don't think he did a valid lap on his previous lap, so keen to see what he can pull out of the bag. I seem to have completely forgotten about my coffee. Slightly sideways. He's coming through turn 10, turn 11, 3 tenths up on his delta, so I'm sure this will be a good banker lap if he can keep it together and then start focusing on trying to improve. Nicely done, hitting the apex perfectly. Crosses the line for a 142.9. I'm jumping back and forwards a little bit here. Well, not back and forwards. Jumping to drivers that haven't set times yet because I'm interested in seeing what they can do. What type of lap times, what have they learned in the first race that they can bring into this feature race right now? So Gregory Hofart crosses the finish line He does not set a lap though, so he's going to have to think about coming out and doing another lap again. He jumps back to pits and gets rolling. So as I jump to Sean Hards, he is about... It's marked him as an outlap. I'm wondering if drivers are having trouble with track limits being registered as outlaps. We'll have to wait and see. So Gerard Niemand currently 5/10 up, half a second, just losing a bit of time there. But yeah, you can keep it together. You can keep it clean. Half a second would net him. That looks like 3 positions. He can go all the way to 6th if he can keep it together. Interestingly enough, I'm not seeing Nick Hodgson qualifying. I'll double check now. So Gerard jumps to pits. Just gonna quickly see, where is Nick? Nick is out there. He is driving. Oh, he does have a time of 1:43.7. Although, let me just get back to him quickly. So he is 1.5 seconds up on his delta, so he's maybe just bided his time, waited a little bit to only go and do some laps closer to the end of quali. .8 seconds is a lot, but I don't think it's going to be enough for Nick to get onto pole. He's going to be focusing on the next lap. And as I say that, I think he is going to cross the finish line and start the very, very last lap possible for him. So he is currently on the front row, comfortably on the front row, I think I might add. Can I quickly go and see what Brett is doing? Brett coming up the second straight there after turn 3, almost a 10th up, not quite enough. I'm sure he is sweating a little there, trying to see if he can beat out Nick on his quali. Cleopas, I agree, coffee can wait. But I have been talking all night. My throat is starting to get a bit scratchy, so I need some saving grace here. Ooh, Brett running almost off track there. I'm not sure. I can't remember track limits. I think I remember it being a little strict here. So I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see if he gets to improve this lap, whether that's stuck. He does have enough time to start another final lap for himself. So he's going to cross the finish line, 1.5 seconds improving, and he just pips Nick right at the end. Hopping back to Nick then. Nick is definitely not going to be improving this lap. So that is Brett on the front row, unless someone else can come and dethrone him. Gregory Hofart crosses the finish line to just start a last lap in time. Still hunting, just want to see Rainier Leach coming through. Oh, this is after turn 3, so he started a lap, losing a bit of time there on the straight, not quite getting the exit he might have been hoping for. But a 1:41.8, that's still a very respectable time. He might be the driver to come and upset Brett Crowcump and Nick Hodgson. Oh, he's just lost a bit of time there. I'm now... Ooh, this is gonna be close. I'm gonna shut up and see what happens here. Okay, no, he dives back into pits. Gregory Hofart now on the last corner there. Oh no, I misjudged the exterior there. So he's still on his valid lap that he started with a few seconds in hand. Oh, half a tenth up. I'm not quite gonna gain him any positions, but it's always good to improve. He does gain a lot of time there. Is he gonna lose it on the exit? No, he doesn't. 3/10 up. That moves him into 15th. Well done to him on improving right down on the wire there. We're gonna go for a quick ad break, and we'll hopefully be back by the time they jump to the grid. See everybody soon. Alrighty, right, we're still sitting in the pits. I'm in the medical car there, and we bump in. I'm gonna switch to Nick. Ooh, almost closed my OBS by accident now. We'll switch to the TV camera. Ooh, this might be a good one to use. So just a mention there, Cleopas, you mentioned Nick being very, very smooth on his pedal input. I think it was Jimmy Broadbent talking about using the bathtub analogy for racing. Essentially, thinking about your car as a bathtub with water in it. When you're accelerating and braking, you're trying to reduce the amount that the water is sloshing. I'll get back to the explanation in a bit. Race is about to start. So let's see. Lights are ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hear a faint engine grumbling. They drop the clutch and away they go. Point blank cars next to one another there. Brett taking the lead very early. Ross not getting a very good start. And I think in the background there, that might be Francois Erasmus running very wide, but I'm also not sure. No, it's Peter Gelderhuis losing out a lot of positions there. Ooh, Sean going very, very deep there into the hairpin. That's going to allow James Leach to slip by, and followed by Hades Boyce right on his tail. Sean does get a very good drive out there. I see cars turning on some lights there, maybe trying to intimidate one another. Sean going for the aggressive move there, cutting off as much as possible. Hades and James Leach getting very racy with one another. Hades on the inside, he manages to slip by. Let's see if I can find some interesting camera angles. Right. Maybe some argy-bargy racing going on here in the second race. Everybody might have gotten a bit comfortable with one another now and is now pushing slightly too hard. But it's still a long race. 38 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Lots that can still happen. But as I say that, Gerard Niemand and James Leach side by side with one another into turn 12. Gerard just not quite managing to get his nose in on the inside though, but he's sitting in the slip, showing that he's got an intention to make a move here. Turns in very early with Leach running very wide, and Stefan Herbst is slipping past Gerard as well, not getting the exit he was hoping for onto the straight through turn 2 into turn 3, the hairpin. It does look like it's going to give Stefan the upper hand, so he manages to stay on the inside, pushes Leach slightly wide. Not sure if there was any contact. Leach came back onto the track a little bit quick there, maybe unsighted by Gerard there. They do keep it going, so no harm, no foul. I'm sure James is going to be fighting his way back forwards very soon. To maybe quickly get back to the analogy, thinking about your car as a bathtub with water in it, you're trying to reduce the amount that water is sloshing about in the bathtub. So if you're hard on the brakes very quickly, it's going to force the water forwards by a lot. But if you do it a bit more gradual, it will help not letting the water slosh about too much. But then if you think about going from your brakes to your throttle, if you get off of the brakes very hard and on the throttle very hard, that then sends the water rushing to the back, and ultimately that's not good for grip. Having a car that's bouncing backwards and forwards like that, that's not good for grip. Just gonna jump back to Pieter Geldenhuys. He is side by side with I think that's Riaan van der Westhuizen. Riaan getting on the inside and managing an overtake, but Pieter is going to be focusing on getting the run out, staying alongside, and hopefully keeping enough speed through this corner. I think it's looking like he's going for a bit of a cutback move there. It should give him a good exit, although I do think Riaan managed a really, really good drive through there. But yeah, so ultimately you're trying to focus on shifting the car's weight from end to end more gradually, and the same with side to side. When you're turning very aggressively, you're rolling the car onto one side a lot more, and it doesn't help grip if you do it very abruptly. You're losing grip on the side of the car that weight moves away from. Ooh, Pieter getting a little bit sideways there, but he keeps it going. Just jumping forwards here. Big pack of cars, Waldo Swiggers and Johan Niemand. Johan Niemand seems to be losing out hand over fist here. Not 100% sure if he's maybe being bullied a bit, or if he's just backing out of a situation that he's not 100% comfortable with. Big train of cars bringing this battle for 13th position. Gerard Niemand dropping down the order there a bit. Ooh, there might be a lot of action here. It's looking like the guys are running side by side. James Leach, Shiraz Dada and Gerard Niemand very close to one another. So pit window, I think this might be a bit of a 50-50 race. I'm not sure what tire degradation is like. Not 100% sure what it's like, but judging by normal proceedings, it might make sense for most to run a 50-50 race. Oh, this frog in my throat is really not helping me. Right, still a battle there for 10th position. That might also almost be 9th position. Gerard Niemand, Shiraz Dada, James Leach and Waldo Swiggers running quite close to one another. Not very, very close, but they were very bunched up in just a few moments ago. All just over 7 minutes into this race, and there's still some close racing here. Excited to see what the pit stops are going to bring and how the strategy is going to shake out. James Leach Sr. looking, but not quite comfortable trying to make the move there. Sorry, not James Leach Sr., Rian van der Westhuizen. Rian van der Westhuizen. I'm just looking at letters here. I feel for you, Rian. Having a surname that can't show up in its entirety makes it difficult sometimes. Know that I've suffered with it, and I then make the very same mistake. Right, Pieter Geldenhuys and Johan Niemand swapping places. They might still be. Let's see if we can still catch the action. Not quite. They're close, but not side by side. I've seen a lot of side by side action. So Hades Boyce and Stefan Herbst. Apologies, Sean Bingham. Hades starting to put some pressure on Sean there. Just tucking in under the wing there, but it's not quite giving him the draft that he's hoping for. Very clean there through turn 1. Dare I say it might be slightly cleaner than Sean. It's going to slowly close that gap. The slipstream not quite helping out Hades as much as he maybe was hoping for. Takes a bit of a wider line into this hairpin. Sean running slightly wide, but he's still keeping ahead. I do see all of the movement there in the timing tower. James Leach and Shiraz Dara swapping places. Ooh, sparks coming from underneath Sean Bingham's car there. He's running very, very low there. The car is dragging a bit under a turn. Let's see, these two are clearly having the race of their life. James Leach, Waldo Swiggers and Shiraz Dada, all very close to one another. Waldo spins it and he has to fall back. He's only going to be able to rejoin after Pieter Geldenhuys and Sean Hards. Waldo being a bit on a arrive and drive mission tonight. I think he only got home very late in the afternoon, but he's doing well for someone saying that he didn't spend enough time to practice. He's keeping things clean and he's enjoying the race tonight. Just heading back to Hardes. Still trying to make the move. He pulls up alongside Sean Bingham into turn 3. Hard on the brakes, keeping it very, very tight there. It might allow Sean to get the better exit here, but Hardes is very far ahead and he might be able to hold on to this lead going into turn 4. He does. Beautifully. Well executed. Just keep piling on that pressure, and if you do have the pace, there might be an opportunity that opens up, and when that opens up, take it. Right, Nick Hodgson right on the back of Brett Graukamp. This is the battle for first here. Brett and Nick managing to pip Ross right at the start of the race. Ross has had some trouble in both races on the start, so not sure what the issue was. Maybe he's just not feeling it tonight and couldn't get off the line quickly enough. Ooh, lots of movement down below in the field, but I do see the gaps opening up a bit, so I'm not going to jump there too quickly right now. Brett forcing Nick to work hard, just parking it on the apex there. Nick sitting underneath that wing. He's going for the inside line now. Not much that Brett can do against that. Brett running slightly wide. Nick just getting out of shape, but he's still keeping it going. They're still side by side. Brett is keeping Nick honest here. Into turn 6. Open up turn 7. Can Brett keep it on the track? I do think Nick is still in the advantageous position here. He's on the inside going into turn 8 there. Both drivers still keeping it very clean. And this battling is now also bringing in Ross Bartle to come and fight. And it's just a sea of point blank all around there. I'm struggling to keep track of who is who. Just trying to keep an eye on which position is where. Brett goes slightly wide. Bit of a door bang there, but he keeps it going. Nick drops a place behind Ross. Ross gets an extremely good exit there out of turn 12. He's taking the inside line into turn 1. And Brett, not... Wow. They're just chopping and changing places here. Not sure if they're having some fun or if this is some serious racing. I do know that at point blank racing there aren't any team orders. They race for all the beads. So Brett still in the lead, followed by Nick, followed by Ross. This battling might also still allow Rainier Leach to close in, where we've got 25 minutes and 25 seconds to still go. Haven't seen anybody pit yet. Quick look through tires. So we've got the majority on hards. Sean Hards is on mediums, as is Francois Erasmus. And Hardus Boyser, he's the madman that went out on softs. So I might be expecting him to be pitting slightly earlier. Although if he was able to make softs work for the sprint race, it could be that he's comfortable taking that to the 20-minute mark before going into the pits. Right, Nick still piling on the pressure onto Brett there. Brett is having to work very, very hard here to stay ahead. Hopping back to Pieter Geldenhuys, right on the back of James Leach. I'll keep an eye on the Nick, Brett and Ross fight there. I'm sure that if they do switch places, we'll be able to quickly jump to them and still get the side-by-side action. Scratch that. Nick side by side with Brett. Brett almost pushing him off the track there. Ross is just patiently waiting for these two to make a mistake. On the inside there of Nick is Ross. And he's still there. Nick giving him the space that he needs. Ooh, Ross just pushing Nick off the track there, making it difficult for him to brake on the AstroTurf. Very slippy there. And it's allowing Brett now to pull a bit of a gap. A moment for him to just contemplate what to do, how he can try and drive away. Because Ross is on the defense now and it's slowing down the two by a bit. Side by side into turn 1. Nick is well ahead. Although I'm expecting Ross to try and use the wider line to get a good exit onto this small straight. I'm not sure if it's the back straight, because there is a back straight and so many straights here. You can spend quite a bit of time contemplating your life and all of the choices you've made up until now. Just hopping back to Sean Hards. He's half a second off of James Leach Sr. And they're also closing the gap on Johan Niemand. 21 minutes and 38 seconds to go. Still patiently waiting to see when drivers are going to start pitting. Leaders aren't showing any sign of slowing down just yet. I'm expecting them to perhaps go in and pit for mediums closer to the 3/4 mark. Try and gain some extra pace doing that. Pieter Geldenhuys right on the back of Shiraz Dada, and they're also on the back of James Leach. This battle for 10th position, always a lively one, even though we're not running back-to-back reverse grid races. But it's exciting to see the drivers battle it out, duke it out, and show their mettle. Ooh, Shiraz runs very, very wide. That's going to allow Pieter Geldenhuys to get a clean exit if he can keep it together. I do think he'll be able to pull ahead into turn 1 and then open up the corner a little bit so that he can get a good exit onto this straight. Does pull ahead, and I do think Shiraz does fall in behind him. Clean overtake I do see up front. Ross Bartle and Brett Crocombe. Brett must have made a mistake. Oh no! What has happened? Now Nick almost a second ahead. What is Brett doing? Side by side still with Ross. Manages to pull ahead. I'm going to jump back to Gregory Hofart and Rian van der Westhuizen. They are running very close to one another. And Bjorn Buchner is also looking a bit racy, saying, I want in on this action right now. Gregory Hofart running very defensively there. Bjorn running slightly wide. Still managing to hold on to the position there. Bjorn just not able to get past. But he is in the slipstream there. And he is going to be putting a lot of pressure on Greg there. Ultimately trying to force the mistake. And it does give Rian van der Westhuizen a bit of a moment to breathe and figure out what his racing line should be and how to try and get away from the two battling behind him. Okay, Hardest Boysa in the pits. Yes, 20-minute mark. So he has gone to pit. He's on softs. I'll double check what he comes out on afterwards. Nick managing to pull quite the gap on Brett Crocombe there. Hardest is going. Does take the safe line there via the pit lane. So he is coming out on softs again. He's comfortable with them. He can manage it. So he's doing quite well for himself. If he can lay down some good pace, he's got a bit of clear air ahead of him. Get some good laps and maybe he can gain a position, a sneaky one. I didn't quite check what the gap was to Renier Leach in 4th, but I'm excited to see what's going to be happening. Right, let's go find a battle. Closest battle, Mr. Hofart and Bjorn Buchner. I do also see up ahead James Leach, Gerard Niemand, Pieter Geldenhuys switching places. There must be some action happening here. Pieter has been slowly chipping his way back into the top 10 here. He's now in 9th position, running down Renier Leach. And Renier is also very close on the back of Stefan Herbst there. Keeping in mind that Hardest Boys had pitted in front of them. So this is technically then 10th position for Pieter. If he's thinking about pitting, I'm not sure. We'll see. Franco Erasmus dives into the pits. He says enough is enough, and so does Stefan Herbst. Alright, so I'm patiently waiting for Rainier Leach and Sean Bingham to cross the line. I want to see what their lap times are compared to that of Hades Boysa. So Rainier and Sean coming through turn 5. I'm gonna have to wait a little while longer. Peter Geldenhuys really piling on the pressure on James Leach there. I am curious. Okay, so they are both on hard tires, likely going deep. Are they battling and not realizing their tires might be on their way out? Or are they still in control? 100%. Let's see. Hades boys are doing a 1:42.7 and I didn't pay attention. Was busy trying to get ready for interviews later tonight. Peter Geldenhuys really nice on the brakes there, keeps it nice and tight through turn 3. James Leach a little untidy there. I do think he got a good exit, but his days might be numbered here. Both drivers making small mistakes here, so I was complimenting Peter on keeping it nice and tidy, and then he missed the apex a little and ran a bit deep. Although he is looking very tidy through here, right on the back of James Leach through turn 9. Keep it nice and straight through turn 10 and 11. I'm holding my breath. One of them might just blink and decide to dive into the pits. And they both keep going. Keeping this battle alive. Fight to the end. Shiraz Dada dives into the pits. And Gregory Hofart manages to overtake Rian van der Westhuizen. Also both on hard tires, so I think they are yet to make their pit stops. Hardest managing to get back into the top 10. Still a load of a bunch of cars that have to go and make their pit stops. I do see Ross and Brett chopping and changing those positions a little. Maybe they're trying to work together to catch up to Nick. I'm not sure. Rian van der Westhuizen seemingly with a very good drive coming into turn 3 there. Gregory Hofart running very defensively. Rian taking a very wide entry there. And he does the cutback. Slight door banging. They both keep it going. Ooh, that was not what you maybe wanted to do there, Gregory. Rian was maybe trying to push you off a bit, but you do need to be careful for a move like that. Not too much of a problem. Rian does keep it going. We'll see. Ooh, James Leach and Pieter Geldenhuys next to one another. Pieter managing the overtake on the last corner there. Well done. Up into 6th position. James getting a very good exit there out of turn 1. Pieter is running the defensive line. He can park it on the apex. Ooh. James turning a little bit aggressively there. Not sure if maybe there was a... He was expecting Pieter to be a bit forward. James does get by Pieter. Maybe Pieter was yielding a position back there. Not sure. We'll see. Could be that Pieter felt he missed the apex. Ooh, James getting very, very sideways there. I think this might be the sign that the tires are starting to complain a bit. Ross and Brett switching places again. They're still not able to close the gap there on Nick. And Pieter, with battling with James, has now also allowed Gerard to catch up and try to bring the fight here. James is gonna be sweating with the 2 SRAC cars breathing down his neck. And they stay out still. I'm wondering if the strategy here isn't maybe a no-stopper on hards. Judging by lap times 145s, it's not very, very quick, although I have seen Nick's lap times not still in the 142s, which is still decent comparing that to what Hades Boyce is doing. He's around 142.8. Gonna go look at a moment. Just want to see. So Ross and Brett, that gap has expanded a bit. Nick is up 1.8 seconds ahead on track. We have less than 10 minutes to go. And judging by what Nick is doing, he is still staying out. He's saying, nope, I'm having none of this. 142.0, 142.0, 142.5. So Brett not doing quite the same lap time in the last lap there. But that's still very competitive when you look at some of the drivers that have gone for pit stops. As always, they say catching is one thing, overtaking is a whole other. Pieter Geldenhuys throwing it up on the inside into turn 12. He does manage to get ahead of James Leach, but I do think James Leach got a better drive. James is going to start poking his nose out into turn 1. Not quite. Okay, Pieter did get a decent enough drive to stave him off. Now he's going to have to be focusing on putting down good fast time. Oh, James still side by side through turn 2 into turn 3. James does have the upper hand now with the inside line. Some very, very close racing. Hades Boyce just jumping backwards there. Him and Waldo Swicher switching and dropping places. Hades doing very well for himself, getting back into 9th. Although I'm starting to worry that his pit stop might have cost him a really, really good finish if he hadn't taken one and rather stayed out in the hards instead of opting for the soft tires. Either way, live and learn. I think this was a spectacular drive from him tonight, considering that it's his first race in Div1. So just to try and keep track here, Pieter Geldenhuys, James Leach and Gerard Niemand, all three of them still out on the same set of hard tires, 143.8, 144.7, 144.2, and Hardness is coming and doing 140.30, so he's not going to be catching at the amount of pace that he would have hoped. I think 9th might be the best he's hoping for tonight. Just jumping ahead to Nick. He is flying tonight. He was struggling a bit to get past Brett, but once he made that overtake stick, he was allowed to get his head down and race hard. Dropping back to James Leach Sr., he is starting to get closer to Francois Erasmus. Francois on a set of medium tires, and I think I saw Francois pitting. Slightly sideways there into turn 3. Tire squealing a bit, asking from James Leach Sr. asking them a little much on trying to stop there. I do see Shiraz. He is bringing a big fight to Johan Niemand. Car almost unsettling there over the curb. He keeps it going. Johan running very, very wide, and that's an easy take. Shiraz says, "Thank you very much. I'll take that." And now he's going to be focusing on opening that gap. So Yuan, let me just check. Shiraz is on mediums. Yes, he went to pit, so that might explain why he is not having as many trouble as Yuan. Yuan might have been asking too much of the tires early in the stint, and he's struggling a bit to get it across the finish line now. Shiraz has now already managed to build up that gap to 1.3 seconds. Right. All of the gaps have now relaxed so much. Each of the drivers can just focusing on bringing it home now. Hardest Boys is still 6.2 seconds behind Gerard Niemand. I'm not sure that there is enough time. I don't think there's enough time for Hardest to catch him. But well done on the drive there for Hardest. Gerard is also showing his mettle, sticking with it and managing a really good drive in the second race. He had some tough luck in the first one, but this second race is going down pretty well for him. While we have a quick moment, we are very, very close to the end of the season. This is the start of the penultimate round for all of the series. So there's still a lot of racing to happen, but if you are keen to find out what simracesa.co.za, what SimRaceSA is about, you can head on over to the website simracesa.co.za. If you are keen and you want to come join us, there is still spots open in the Div2 races. You can fill in a sign-up form and submit it, and come and join us for some good fun racing. To date, let me just get my numbers straight. To date, we have managed to gather through donations 33,683 rand and 88 cents. So part of what we do here at SimRace South Africa is we choose a charity. In this case, it's Abba Adoption Specialists for a season, and all of the drivers entering, their entry fee is a direct donation to this charity. So you know where your money is going to. It's for a good cause. And it always warms my heart seeing what the community manages to pull together. This is I've lost count of how many seasons we've been running these types of numbers, but it's heartwarming to see everybody willing to dig into their pockets a bit, even in rough times like this during the pandemic, and try to make a difference in someone else's life. Right, so James Leach is slowly catching up to Pieter Geldenhuys. That gap was dipped below 1 second. Bjorn Buchner is also catching up to Sean Hards. It's not quite there yet. I'm going to be flipping between these two to try and keep a close eye on what's going on. As this is the closing stages now. Actually, I'm going to switch to Nick Hodgson. We've got 40 seconds. He's coming through turn 12 right now. So this is going to be the final lap. Up ahead, that might be James Leach Sr. getting out of the way for him, or it might be Rian van der Westhuizen. I'm not 100% sure. Yes, it's Rian van der Westhuizen. So next starting his final lap, followed by Ross Bartle, followed by Brett Kroukamp, followed by Renier Leach, and it's been an eventful race, I think. Back to James Leach on the back of Pieter Geldenhuys. That gap is now down to below 6/10. Slowly but surely, James has been reeling in Pieter. This is going to be the final lap where he can try and make a move. James Leach 1:43.4 and Pieter Geldenhuys doing 1:43.7, so 0.3 slower. Sean Hards on the back straight there. Is he going very, very fast? Just checking. Check that line. Keeps it nice and smooth. Right, back to James Leach and Pieter Geldenhuys. This is going to be for all of the beans. Pieter is going to have to work really hard. Runs defensively into turn 3. Just switching there. So Nick is going through turn 9, turn 10. He is about, let's say, half a minute away from finishing this race. Hopping back here, Pieter Geldenhuys holding on for dear life. James Leach just going over that inside sausage curb. Throwing up the inside tire is not quite what you may be wanting to go, or how you want to go around that corner. It's cost him a bit of time, and I think this might be it. So Nick does cross the line. He takes a well-deserved win there, followed by Ross Bartle and Brett Kroukamp, with Bjorn Buchner in the background crossing the finish line as well. Renier Leach taking a well-deserved 4th position finish there. And Sean Bingham bringing in a 5th position finish. Back to Pieter and James Leach. Pieter is still ahead of James Leach. This was the battle that I was following. Pieter managed to hold on. Keep it clean through this last corner. There's a very short run. Ooh, almost thought that James Leach might have been able to get by there, but Pieter takes 6th, James takes 7th. We've got Gerard Niemand crossing for 8th, Hardest Boys are crossing for a well-deserved 9th finish, and Waldo Swiggers is going to be rounding out our top 10. Wow, that was now quite the race. So while all of this is happening, I am going to go quickly set up and see if I can get Mr. Nick Hodgson in for a quick interview. Just give me a moment while I get out of everything and ready. Ooh, Nick is not there. And here he is. Right. Hello, Mr. Nick Hodgson.
Good evening, Sass. How are you?
I am under the impression that you must be a sweaty man right now.
You have no idea, especially in a VR headset. I pull this thing off my face and a river of sweat, delicious as that sounds, runs down my face.
So race 1, flag to flag, had a great start. Any specific thoughts there? Hello.
Of my team, hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, of my team, I was the only one who was able to make softs work. Both Brett in particular really struggled. You would have seen him in qualifying, not even using softs, and Ross could only use softs for qualifying. So somehow I was able to manage the tires, and literally I was managing the tires the whole race, but it gave me a little bit of an edge.
Someone was mentioning in chat he was just in awe at how smooth your inputs were.
It was the only way to make it work, I think. That must be the reason, because Brett seriously struggles. We've yet to work out exactly what it is about his driving style, but he really struggles with these tires.
Yeah.
Compared to me. I mean, in the feature race, I just dipped into the red on the tires by the end. Brett, well, his tires were done. They were black about 3 laps before the end. So that gives you an idea.
Yeah. I mean, I was getting to race 2. Brett was he snuck in there to take the lead at the start, and I think you fell in line behind Ross, was it? No, Ross had a very bad start.
Yeah, Ross seemed to really struggle tonight to launch the car off the start line. So second race, I managed to jump him, and I didn't get a good turn 1, so I wasn't able to challenge Brett at that stage. And then we were fighting, and then Ross and I were fighting, and then Ross and I and Brett were fighting, and it was just chaos. But like, definitely
I caught a lot of that chaos.
good, because it was a highlight of our season. I've got to say that was so much fun. A little bit of door bashing here and there, but yeah, phenomenal racing by the chaps. Like, wow, what teammates!
It looked absolutely amazing. I was in awe at how close it was. But more than that, tiny bit of me was contemplating, are you guys maybe having a bit of fun knowing that there's a gap behind, or was this just hard racing?
That was hard racing the whole time. Like, we knew we had a little bit of a gap, but no one was thinking about that. Like, when it was happening, zero thought was given to the gap behind. And after it calmed down a little bit, then we were like, ooh, hang on. Have we just done ourselves a disservice here? But no, it was great.
I think that might have ultimately been what cost Brett his tires was that battle, because you and him you were going at it very hard, and I think he made a mistake and then dropped behind both you and Ross.
Yeah, it was unfortunate he made that mistake. It was completely on his own as well.
And from there, he's already taken a bit too much out of the tires, and then just couldn't get that fight back to Ross as well. They were still chopping and changing places here and there, but closer to the end of the last 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I think I saw Brett falling back by quite a bit.
Yeah, look, he as I say, he just struggles with the tires. It's really unfortunate because he has insane pace in this car, but he just can't keep it up, so to speak. But yeah, that was literally me. As I managed the tires a little bit better and managed to take both wins, and hopefully make the championship a little bit interesting. Ross has been having it all his own way in the touring cars. So
I mean, I'm sure Point Blank is well up there on the leaderboard. It's going to be interesting seeing what the calculations show now. I'm sure Ross has kind of run away with it a bit, but you've kept him honest a lot. So will it come down to the last race? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think he's got 6 race wins, and I've got 4 race wins now, and yeah, so we'll see what happens. So it could be 6 on 6 at the end of the season. Who knows? I'm going to be giving him all, I can tell you that.
Anyways, congrats on the win, and you can now go and have a good race. Cool down a bit. Don't have to worry about the VR goggles on your head.
Awesome. Thanks, Ass. Appreciate the stream.
Cool. Not a problem. Man. Cheers, Nick.
Cheers.
Whew. What a race. That was a lot of fun to watch. I am very happy with how things turned out. Thanks everybody for coming and joining. Just a quick look there. Don't see. Well, Cleopas was shouting SRAC all the way. Die-hard fanatic there for his team. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining. As always, very fun having everybody here. Very fun seeing the quality of racing that we can in Div1. And onwards to Div2. So Wednesday, I think Peter mentioned that he might be able to do a stream. So Div2 drivers, you can maybe look forward to having something to go and look back on. But other than that, look forward to having the race. And then next week, I'll share that info so long. So the next race will be our GP series, and it was initially slated to be Modena, but it is not the case anymore. Need to crack down this event quickly. Tor Poznan. I'm not gonna take a guess at where that is located. Looks a little bit Polish, but I think it some of the feedback that some of the drivers had given is that this is going to be an interesting race. So yeah, looking forward to getting to go and do that. And then we'll the week thereafter we're on. This is going to be a tough one. My favorite, Laguna Seca for the SimGT series, and then we'll be back with Legends on the calendar, heading to. This was the one that was slated to be Killarney. But I don't think the track is ready, so we still have to wait and see what's going to be announced. So still a ton of racing, and there are still 4 more different series races. Well, 4 more series races after that. But we're getting close. This is now the point where we're going to start keeping a close eye on the championship standings, so that we can see what's gonna shake up. Other than that, feel free to head on over to simracesa.co.za. Go and have a quick look there, read through everything. As I said, the season is almost over. There is a good month and, well, almost 2 months of racing still left. 7 weeks of racing left. You can come and still have some fun. I know some drivers are joining the GT series for the last 2 races. And yeah, get those donations in. Find the link there to our Discord channel. Lots of interesting people just willing to share knowledge if you ask, and sharing this passionate hobby that we call sim racing. Right, I'm gonna stop rambling. Have a good night, everybody, and we're looking forward to seeing what the next races will bring.